Whoever named the configuration management database clearly never had to explain it to anyone. It's a mouthful, and on its own, it doesn't tell you much. So let's break it down. 2 parts: configuration management and database. Database, you probably already know what this is. It's just a place that stores information. Nothing scary there. Configuration management, now that sounds a lot more complicated than it is. Here's the plain English version. It's just the practice of knowing what IT stuff you have and how you're using it. Servers, laptops, and software, and network devices, cloud services. That's configuration management. So you put those 2 things together, and the CMDB is just a database that stores what IT stuff you have and how you're using it. So if you came here just looking for a definition, there it is. Feel free to drop. No hard feelings. But if you want to understand why the CMDB matters, not just what it is, but why so much depends on it for the companies that use it and for the IT folks that implement it, stick around. Plain English, no fluff, I promise, because this is where it all starts to get really interesting. Let's draw this picture. This box is our CMDB, and right now it's empty, which honestly is how a lot of real-world CMDBs end up, but we'll get to that. So how do we get our IT stuff into it? 3 ways. First, someone can just type it in manually, one at a time, which works, but if you've ever tried to manually track thousands of servers in a spreadsheet, you already know how that story ends. Second, and this is the one that most organizations shoot for, automated discovery. Tools that crawl your network, find your IT components automatically, and load them. No typing required. And third, imports. If the company already has inventory data sitting in a spreadsheet or some legacy systems, you can pull that in and load it into the CMDB on a schedule. Now, let's load some IT stuff. Auto discovery goes out and finds a network device. It loads it into the CMDB as a record. In CMDB language, that record is called a configuration item, or CI. So our network device is now a CI in the CMDB. It finds a server, CI loaded. A database, CI loaded. An application, another CI loaded. And a service, the thing that the business actually cares about, the payroll system, the email platform, whatever real people depend on every day, CI loaded. So now we've got 5 CIs sitting in our CMDB. That's a pretty good start. So here's the thing. Just having a list of IT components by itself really isn't that useful. I mean, knowing you have a server is fine, but knowing where it fits in your environment, what things are connected to it, what things depend on it, and what services is it helping to provide, that's where the CMDB really gets powerful. That's where relationships come in. Just like the CIs themselves, relationships can come from any of our 3 data sources. They can be discovered automatically, imported from an existing system, or managed manually. The network device connects the server. The server hosts the database. The database supports the application, and the application delivers the service. Now we have something completely different from what we started with. Not just a list of IT stuff, but a map. A picture of how everything connects and works together to deliver something the business actually uses. Here's where it's worth zooming out for just a second. In our picture, we've got one of each, one server, one database, one application. But in a real company, each of those is actually a table in the CMDB database, storing potentially thousands of records of that type. Each record is one CI. Some companies have millions of them, millions of configuration items, all tracked, all connected, all mapped to each other. That's the scale of what we're talking about, and that's why getting this right matters so much. Which brings us to the question, once all that data is in there, what do you actually do with it? Let's look at a few examples, and we'll use ServiceNow to show you how this actually shows up in a real platform. It's 2 a.m. and your payroll system just went down. Hundreds of employees won't get paid tomorrow if you don't fix it fast. You've got people on a call, and questions are flying. Is it the server, the database, a network issue? Did someone change something recently? Without a CMDB, you're guessing. You're making phone calls, and you're hoping that someone remembers how this thing is configured. But with a well-maintained CMDB, your support team opens an incident in ServiceNow, links it to the payroll service, and pulls up something like this. There's our map right there in the platform. Everything connected, everything visible instantly. No phone calls, no guessing, no hoping someone wrote it down somewhere. It's not a small thing. That's the difference between a 2-hour outage and a 2-day one. Now, let's flip the script. No emergency this time. Everything's running fine, but your team needs to patch that server. Routine maintenance shouldn't be a big deal. Without a CMDB, you schedule the patch, you cross your fingers, and you find out what broke afterward. Maybe nothing. Maybe the payroll system goes down and you're back to that 2 a.m. phone call. With a well-maintained CMDB, before anyone touches anything, you already know exactly what depends on that server, the database running on it, the application that database supports, and the service that that application delivers. You can see the risk before you take it. Right there, everything that depends on this server before you touch a thing. Now you can schedule the maintenance window at the right time, notify the right people, and have a rollback plan, just in case. That's change management with a CMDB. It's less guessing, it's less panic, and it's a lot fewer 2 a.m. phone calls. And it's not just about fires and fixes. Day-to-day IT operations depend on the CMDB to answer some pretty basic but surprisingly hard questions. What do we actually have? Where is it? Is it healthy? Is that server being maxed out while another one sits completely idle? And are we running software versions that haven't been patched in 2 years? Without a CMDB, those questions take days to answer. Spreadsheets get pulled, and emails get sent, and people guess. With one, they're a query away. Your entire environment, visible, current, searchable, anytime you need it. And that's just 3 examples. And the truth is, the list of business processes that depend on a well-maintained CMDB is long. Security teams scanning for vulnerabilities, compliance teams answering audit questions, and finance teams managing software licensing costs, automation tools that only work as well as the data they're fed. Nearly every major IT process has a thread that runs back to the CMDB. It's not a feature, it's not a nice to have, it's the foundation. So that's the CMDB, database of all your IT stuff and how it's connected, and the foundation that most of your IT processes depend on to work properly. Now, we've been talking about this generically, but if you're here because you're working in ServiceNow or you're thinking about it, here's what's worth knowing. ServiceNow took this idea more seriously than almost anyone. They didn't build a platform and then add a CMDB to it. They built the platform around the CMDB. Every major application, incident, change, operations, security, AI, designed from the ground up to work with the data inside of it. So if you're implementing ServiceNow or you're working in it or you're just trying to understand it, understanding the CMDB isn't optional. It's the starting point. If you want to go deeper, we have a full ServiceNow Masterclass that covers the CMDB and everything built around it in detail. The link is in the description. And if you're preparing for the CSA exam, make sure you grab our free ebook. It's also linked in the description. Thanks for watching, and if you found this useful, hit the like button. It helps more than you know. And subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.